Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I am super excited to be bringing you 15 of my top favorite fall DIYs. So let's get started. So the materials that I'm using for this project and supplies are you're gonna need some wood screws. I just found some in the garage, and then a screw gun, and then you're also gonna need some chipboard. I just picked up this 12 by 12 cardstock chipboard at Michael's. I think I paid $3.50 with tax for 3 of them. And then some sort of wood. This would look great with barn board. I had this wood. It came from bed rails. I've been using it for different projects, so I just cut it up to size just using a saw. And then you're gonna need some wood glue, and then I also have these signs from Dollarama, and I'm going to be using these pumpkins just to give it a more 3D effect. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm going to assemble the sign. I screw these 2 smaller pieces of wood, but before I do, I just add a little bit of hot glue just for extra security. Once I have assembled the sign, I use some old t-shirt and the stain to stain it, and I just rub the stain on. I go in the direction of the wood grain just so it looks a little better. This is super easy to do, and it dries super fast. Once I finished with the stain, I just take a piece of sandpaper and just sand down the edges, and I like doing this after the stain because it gives it a bit of a aged effect. So I designed my letters just using the fonts that I already had. I did not purchase any fonts. If you are interested, let me know down below. I can include which fonts I used for this, it's just I know the you pick and Hayride was just American typewriter, and then I think the pumpkin patch was I would have to double check. So but anyways, so I just designed it on my design space on the computer, which was I would say pretty fairly easy, and then I just set it to print, to cut I mean. So once it was done, I ended up using a cleaning tool to just pop all the letters out. I was extremely pleased with the way it turned out, and it was a little bit easier than I thought. However, it did take me some time to do it. Next thing that I did, I just kind of tried to figure out the center of the sign where the pumpkin patch letters are gonna go, and then once I had that figured out, I started popping these pumpkins off the sign, which was super easy to do, and adding them on. I didn't glue anything down first. I just played around with it until I was happy with everything and the position that it was on, and once I was happy, I ended up gluing it on. So I used wood glue for this project, and I tried just going right out of the container, the little tube, but it was the letters are too small, so I ended up adding it into a bowl and using a paintbrush just to apply the glue. For the pumpkin, I did the same thing for the pumpkins as well. You could well, I wouldn't recommend using a hot glue just because the letters are fairly thin and you might really burn yourself. The wood glue, brushing the wood glue worked well. I just found I had to work fairly fast in order for the wood not to dry, and then you can just go over and clean off the little bit of wood if you make a mess with it. So after I was done just sanding off a little bit of mess that was there from the wood glue, I ended up adding just a stripe from the same chipboard. I just cut up according to the size and gluing it on just underneath. I just think it added a little bit extra detail to the sign. So here it is. I absolutely loved the way it turned out. I was a little bit worried about the colorings, that it was going to clash and you're not going to be able to see the color, the letters pop out, but they pop out perfect and gives you that dimensional effect that I was looking for. To be creating a embroidery hoop fall wreath, and I had picked up a couple different items from Dollarama, but I also had a couple different things on hand already. So I had picked up this really nice fall leafy foliage. It's called eucalyptus leaves, but they're like the nice bronzy color, and this was $2.50 at Dollarama, and I had cut it up into just little branches. I had also picked up these 3 pumpkins, and again they're the same really nice orange color with a little bit like kind of almost like antique orangish color with a little bit of brown, which I think it's gonna go great. And I got 3 of those, and that was $2. And then they also had this wheat in 2 different colors. These were $1.25. And then I had the lamb's ears from Hobby Lobby for a while now, so I'm thinking I'm gonna use this. And then I also had these, they're like eucalyptus leaves, and I'm not sure what these leaves were, but they're all from Dollarama from way before, and I just cut them up, and I'm hoping to use those. I'm not going to be hot gluing anything. I have some of this floral wire that I'm going to be using. I have more as well. I just had these just to kind of show you, and I also have some wire cutters. First thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to get my base put on, because that's gonna be like my backdrop for my project. Okay, so that's good. And now I'm going to add these leaves. I'm just going to cut that down again. And I'm going to put them a little bit lower. I like using the wire instead of hot gluing because I feel that it gives me a little bit more playing. Like if I don't like the way something looks, I can always just remove it and start all over again. But if I were to hot glue it, it would be more of a permanent thing. And then you can also, if you have enough loops made, you can also just shove pieces in versus adding more wire to it. So now I'm going to add my eucalyptus leaves, both green and the brown ones. Okay, I think that's pretty good now. I'm going to put my pumpkins on. Now this will be the tricky one where I might need to use the hot glue. Just want to see where I'm gonna place them. So I think I might do it like this. Okay. And now I'm going to add a little bit of hay just in certain areas. I think I'm done, and I'm going to show you how it looks on the where I'm planning on putting it. So here it is. I am placing it on top of my hooded fan in the kitchen, and I think it looks so good. It added that rustic orange or burnt orange that I have going on throughout the rest of my house and in the kitchen, and I love the way it looks. I had gone to a thrift store thrifting, and I came across all of these lids, mason jar lids, and as you can see, they're all tarnished and they're not very pretty. I like using these for Christmas ornaments, creating ornaments, and they were like a box of them for $1, so I picked it up. Now I have separated some that I would be using for this project, because I'm obviously not going to make a box full of ornaments for Christmas, but I had seen this idea on Pinterest and I thought it would be so nice to have it for fall. So besides the rings, I also need some sort of rope or twine. Now I am going to use 3 different chalk paints because I'm going to try to create the look that I'm going for with the spray paint. Chalk paints, these are spray paints, only one is chalk paint. So I'm using the antique pewter, the hammered one, then I'm using the hammered in this rust color, and I can never find where it says what color it is. Caps shows actual color and finish. So it's kind of like a bronzy color, and then a little bit of charcoal in the Rust-Oleum chalk paint. And one thing I don't have here, I have to go grab, is I'm going to use a couple cinnamon sticks. So without further ado, I'm going to get started and get these all spray painted outside. So I have them all set up on top of a box, and I'm going to start with my bronzes, the rusty color first. Now I'm going to spray the chalk paint a little bit. Okay, so I think this is pretty good. Just gonna make sure that all the sides are equally painted, and then I'm going to let this dry for about an hour or so. So here they are, all dry, and now I'm going to assemble my pumpkin. my way. Whether that is the right way, I'm just letting you know. This is the way I'm gonna do it. I think it's gonna work. Okay, so I just threaded it through. I'm going to try and make it as tight as I can. I did a dry run on this, just so you know, so I knew that it would work. So I'm just going to tighten it. And I'm going to cut off the ends. And I'm going to just separate them. Okay, and now in order to keep the form in here, I'm going to add some cinnamon sticks, and I'm just going to go see how many I need to fit in here. I think one more. So I'm gonna add one more, and I'm going to wrap, actually take one out, and I'm going to wrap a rope around them so they'll give me a little bit more thickness as well. Because I made it so tight, I'm just going to put a dab of hot glue on the rope just to prevent it from coming apart. Ouch. And of course I managed to burn myself right away. Okay, now I'm gonna shove that in, and then I'm going to take my pumpkin and just form it. There. That's it. That's right in there. I'm just gonna push it down a little bit more so it keeps it more secure. And I absolutely love the way it turned out. I'm going to show you in my decor. And so here it is. I think it turned out absolutely stunning. And it's going to be a great addition in my fall decor to go along with all the other pumpkins that I have. So here are the supplies that you will need. You will need some sort of artist panel. This doesn't necessarily have to be like this, but I did pick mine up for $4 at Dollarama. And then stain of your choice. I am using the dark walnut from Verithane Ultimate Wood Stain, and also I am using the chalked Rust-Oleum paint in charcoal spray paint, and some sort of a chalk marker. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the edge, like the frame of it, like this part, so that way it looks like a frame. And I'm going to actually stain that. I'm going to go with a very light coat of stain, so that way it takes no time to dry. You're gonna need some sort of an old rag, and I am just using an old t-shirt for that. You could use some gloves if you want. I just don't work very well with gloves on, so.
It's 2 a.m. and I can't fall asleep, 'cause I'm not tired. I'm thinking about the days we used to shine when we were young. I told you that we should start a band and reach for the sky. It's 2 a.m. and I can't fall asleep. I'm just not tired. I can hear the raindrops falling. It's cold outside and I kinda feel like calling, but it's too late now. I just miss you. I just miss you. We were such a constellation, right? No, you'd agree. Made a reputation for ourselves at age 18.
So it's all ready, because I did such a light coat. It's dry to the touch. So I'm going to just add some painter's tape around it for the spray painting. Okay, so that's ready for some spray paint. And you can also use chalkboard paint too if you don't have this one. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry completely before I do anything else. So this had time to dry. I'm just going to take the tape off. Now the fun part starts. I'm going to write it out. I'm just going to use this as a bit of a guide here. I kind of like the way this one looks. My little maple leaves don't really look like maple leaves, but I think they'll do. Going to be creating 2 rustic pumpkins for my front porch decor, and I will be using some of these boards. They are like barn boards, reclaimed wood type of boards, and we will also need some sort of decoration to tie around the stem, drill, a sander, and a saw, and a pencil. My inspiration is from Etsy, and it is $98.05, and I absolutely love it. However, I do not wish to spend that kind of money myself. I had to run inside because the rain came for like 2 seconds, and there's planes going by, and there's people doing roofs, so everything that could go wrong is kind of going wrong. But I hope you can hear me nevertheless. So I'm just trying to figure out my pieces here. Trying to see which one's gonna go where. Okay, so I'm going to just mark off where I want certain pieces cut, and I know that I can't necessarily do it in a circle myself, but I'm going to cut them on an angle and then sand the rest of the stuff. So I'm going to cut these pieces. So I'm going to do it on a 45 and then just straight cut for that one. So 45 and straight cut for the bottom one.
The stars, but now it feels just like I wandered off into a room and closed the door behind me. I never gave the key to you, even though I wanted to.
There, and now I'm going to mark it off again just for sanding, so I know how I'm going to do this, and I'm going to cut this one as well. So for sanding I'm using 100. I think that's what the number is, because this one is 220, yeah. And I'm probably gonna finish with the 220. Actually, I'm thinking I might cut off these ends as well, just to make it easier for cutting.
Sometimes I just don't know what to do. It should have been you.
So now I'm going to sand these a little bit as well.
But now the ground is shaking. Could be a phase, but it feels like it will never go away until we make up.
And I'm going to also round up the edges on the bottom. But I have a feeling I'm going to give them a little cut too. I think I can trim off this one a little bit more.
It could have been you. What a crime and what a shame to let you go. Sometimes I just...
I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to assemble my bigger ones. I mean cut them.
Wrapped around your arms instead of people.
Okay, same idea. I think I cut up the wrong piece, but anyways, I'm just going to cut that there. Okay, so here is my bigger one. Sand the edges again.
Sometimes I just don't know what to do. It should have been you.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to find a piece of wood that I can attach these with. Okay, so I'm going to just secure them here with a couple screws. That's pretty sturdy. And now I'm going to assemble these. So here they are, and apparently my neighborhood is the most happening place to be today. There's music, there's music on two different neighbors are playing music. It's Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, so I had found these in my yard, so I just cut them and I'm going to use them as stems, and I'm just going to attach them with some hot glue. So I didn't have a raffia to wrap around, well, not long enough to do it, so I decided to still go ahead and just add some of these leaves around, but I will have to use hot glue for them. Do have a little bit of raffia, just not long enough, so I'm thinking I might just add to it. So here they are, all finished. I love the way they turned out. I think they're pretty close to the inspiration piece, and they cost me $0 because the wood came from a friend for free. Thank you, friend. And the rest of the stuff I had on hand or in my garden, and I'm pretty sure that you could easily make these out of pallet boards without a problem, and usually you can find those for free. As you can see, I will be recreating those two pieces. Now my hooks are similar, but they're not the same, but I think they will work nevertheless, because I could not find hooks exactly the same, and I'm pretty sure I am using smaller mason jars. But other than that, I think it's gonna look pretty close to the piece. So I have these boards. It was actually one board. I just cut it into two that I will be using. So mason jars, I am going to use any Sloan chalk paint, some jute rope, the two hangers. These have actually come from Dollarama. The rest of the stuff I had on hand. And I'm going to spray paint these and paint these. I'm going to spray paint them with my spray paint. I just have to go find it. Funny thing, I actually put it where it should go. So this is the chalk paint by Rust-Oleum in charcoal, and I'm going to spray paint these just because I don't want them to be shiny. And then you will need hot glue and paintbrushes. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint these so that way they have some time to dry. Oh yeah, and I will use some fall greenery to decorate them. But you can use any, doesn't have to be fall. And I will be sharing all of my upcoming challenge invites, collaborations, in upcoming week or so, and there is going to be tons of stuff that I am bringing to you for this fall season. So I think I like this, just how rough it looks. I'm not going to be adding any more paint. I'm just going to let that dry. Just a light coat. I like how rustic that ends up looking. There we go. So I'm going to set those off to a side, let them dry, and I'm going to spray paint these now. And I'm going to let these dry as well. So these had dried somewhat, but enough for me to add my rope. And as I've been mentioning in a lot of my videos, I have recently taken my main channel and separated it into three. I have a home channel, which it's all cleaning and decorating. So a lot of my DIYs are showcased on that channel. So make sure you check it out to see how I'm using all the things that I create in my to decorate my home. I'm looking forward to all the clean and decorate videos coming, and my home tour will be on that channel as well for fall. And I also have a cooking channel, and I will have tons of fall recipes for dessert, dinner ideas, just plain recipe sharing. So make sure, if you like to cook and you like different stuff, make sure you check out that channel as well. So I'm just measuring approximately where this thing's gonna hang, and I want to cut off a rope that's long enough for that, for hanging. So I'm going to add some hot glue right there, kind of right in the middle. Same idea on the other side. And now I'm going to take more rope and just wrap it around, starting at the bottom. So my friend was watching my videos and ended up getting me some of these, so I'm going to try and use these, see how that works out. So there, I'm gonna do the same thing for the other one. Probably need a glove, not just the finger covers. So next step, I'm going to put the hangers up, the little hooks up. Now I don't have a nail that is that works, and I noticed that the hooks that I was supposed to attach them are gone because I've had those for a while. So I'm just going to hot glue them. I do, however, suggest you do put some sort of a screw or a more permanent glue to hold them in place. I'm going to hot glue them for now, and once I get the screws, I will try and screw them in. So these are dry enough for me to glue them, and I am just measuring out so I have them at an even height. And they're flat on the back, so they are fairly easy. They should be fairly easy. Make sure you're centered. So I'm going to let the glue dry, which shouldn't take very long. So I have added this hay into here, and I'm going to just hang it up. I hope I got this rope long enough. So I'm going to add a touch of hot glue just on the tip here, and then there we go. And I'm going to repeat the same thing for this one, but as much as I wanted to show you what this would look like with this, I'm just going to remove these out and glue it because I don't want any of the hay to get glued. Like I said, you can add this with a permanent glue too. I just change my mind and redo things so many times that if I can get away without it being permanent, I will. So I'm going to show you what it looks like with the hay once this is dry. So here they are. I think they look stunning, and if I add some hooks on the back, I can hang them on the wall and change out the greenery inside for seasons or to match the decor in the room that I'm putting them into. I am using this flower and garden bucket that we all know from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to, as you can see, mine's very well used, but I'm just going to brush white paint over it. I'm not looking for full coverage, just to give it a bit of a different look. Next, I take this thing that I printed out, just words. I did it in a mirror image, and I cut it out as close to the words as I can, and then I will transfer it onto the little container. So I'm going to now add this. This has had some time to dry. So I'm going to use Mod Podge to add it on. let that dry completely before I remove the back. Okay, so this had some time to dry, so I'm going to take water and just brush it on. And then I'm going to rub it gently. I think this is as much rubbing as I will do. I like the rustic look that this end up looking as, and the darkness of the paper that kind of got left behind covers up all the writing that was there before, and I think it just looks so rustic with the little hay in it. In this project, I will be making this a pillow, farmhouse pillow for fall with this kitchen rag. I have been loving the kitchen rags from Dollarama. I think Dollar Tree has similar ones as well. I've seen people haul them. Ours just didn't have any, so I ended up getting this one at Dollarama. I fold the pillow and then I hot glue it at the seams and stuff it. But you have to turn it inside out before you hot glue it. And don't forget to leave a little bit of space for your stuffing and to be able to turn it inside out. So I'm going to hot glue the seam. So I did leave this open so I can flip it over. Ouch. So you want to give it a minute or so to have a chance for glue to dry a little bit, and then I'm going to also add the thankful from those little metal words from Dollar Tree. Okay, so this kitchen rag was $2 at Dollarama. Want to push the corners out. Just saw this must have not put much glue here, so I'm just going to add a little bit more. There. Okay, so now that I have it, I'm going to hot glue this on, try and make it as centered as possible. Now that I know where I want it placed, you need to hot glue. I'm hot gluing it, and you have to move fairly fast because by the time you reach the last letter, the hot glue has tendency to dry. So if that happens, just lift up the corners and put a little bit of hot glue in the corners, and that should be it. It's not like anybody's gonna be laying on this pillow. It's more for the decorative purposes. And once this was on and I was happy with it, I moved on to stuffing. Recently we had purchased new couches, and the pillows from the old couches, like the backrest pillows, had tons of stuffing, so I had actually kept all the stuffing because I knew I was going to be making tons of pillows. Once I was satisfied with the amount of stuffing that was in the pillow, I ended up closing it, and you just want to fold the seams inside, on up and down, and then just put some glue and glue it together. This is tricky because you can burn yourself unless you have finger covers. Here is the pillow, and I think it looks absolutely stunning, and I know that it's gonna look really nice in my fall decor this year. I am using the cake pan from Dollar Tree as well as this base from Dollar Tree. This is super easy. It's more of a farmhouse decor rather than fall decor, but I'm going to decorate it in fall decor, so I'm counting it as fall decor. So I'm going to spray paint this one with my Rust-Oleum charcoal chalk paint, so it matches the base. I actually don't know what I did with my chalk paint spray, so I'm just going to use this Canyon Black by Rust-Oleum in satin. And I'm going to let it dry. Okay, so this is just about dry, so I am going to glue it. You could also put some more permanent glue. Over here I'm just going to do a generous amount. Try to do it as centered as possible. I think that's pretty good. There. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my acrylic paint and dry my brush, take some, brush most of it off, and just dry brush onto here. I think this looks really good. So here it is. I have a similar in white, so I thought doing it in black with white dry brushing will look perfect in my home, wherever I put it. I had picked up this tray at a local thrift store for $3, and I will be using this spray paint, chalky finish spray paint, and a screwdriver, and then I will also need, I'm using a Cricut machine. I originally couldn't figure out for the life of me what this tray was for, and then a friend of mine told me that those handles at the back are to clip around the couch handrest. Learn something new every day. But I did end up removing those, and One biggest pet peeve that I have is when stores stick a sticker right smack in the middle of something and then I struggle to take it off. I couldn't really put nail polish remover onto it. I was afraid to use anything harsh that will damage the finish, and it'll make it more obvious once I painted it. Just saying, it is my big pet peeve. I know Dollarama is famous for sticking a sticker somewhere where it's completely unnecessary. So the first thing that I did was I removed that sticker, and then I removed the handles using the screwdriver, and then I moved on to spray painting this tray. I went to Michael's and picked up this chalky finish spray paint. I wanted a chalk spray paint, but they were all out, and I'm not sure what the difference between a chalky finish and chalk spray paint is, but it did the job. Once I was done spray painting it, I let it dry for a good couple of hours until it was no longer sticky to the touch. And then I moved on, then I worked on my design that I wanted to put on there in my design space for the Cricut machine. I had found the design on Pinterest, and it was a free download, which I will link down below, but then I struggled with it, how to get it printed to look like that, until I figured out that you actually have to weld the image together, so that way when it prints out, it prints it like that. Just a little trick in case if you did not know that. Like I said, learn something as I go. I used a vinyl that came in my all materials bundle, and it is a dark brown. And the one thing that I want to let you know, which is I did not know this very well, even though I watched a video on how to do this, you have to use this scraping tool to get your vinyl stuck onto the mat really well, so that way it makes the weeding process much easier and your vinyl doesn't move. My vinyl, I think, moved a little bit, and I struggled a little bit with weeding. And you also want to switch your pressure to more, and I used a fine tip blade. I'm still impressed how quiet this machine is and all the things that it can do. I'm just in the awe of it, because comparing to my old Cricut machine, it can definitely do a lot more. So this is the tool that I was talking about to press it down, and you do this when you put the vinyl down, after you're done cutting, when you put your transfer tape on, when you take your when you take it off the mat, when you take it off before you take the transfer tape off, when you are transferring, you do it like you do it every single step as you go. Because I didn't do as much pressure as I should have, I lost an E, and the big E was a little bit damaged, and my P was looking a little funny. I did end up fixing it with my water-based Sharpie, which I honestly think this tool has become my go-to tool for all my crafting needs. It works so much better than a permanent marker, and it writes on almost any surface. as you can see, I fixed it pretty good. You can barely notice it, and I absolutely love with the way this turned out. Here are the supplies. I have picked this up a while back, and can't actually remember where this one came from, whether it came from Dollar Tree or Dollarama. These have definitely come from Dollar Tree. This was from Dollar Tree. It's a little garland. These were, again, I think these are from Dollarama, but I'm not 100% certain. This little wreath is part of a garland that had come from Dollarama. These have come from Dollarama, and these were from Dollar Tree, and these were from Dollar Tree as well. I picked this up at Dollar Tree. I really like this one. And then they also had this form, which is a bigger form. It is an 18-inch form, and they had it for the same price as the smaller one at Dollar Tree. So I'm going to heat up my glue gun and get started. So I want to place this in the middle, angle it a little bit, but I'm gonna take the little hanging part off, the little rope, and then I'm going to hot glue it over here. Once my glue is, and while my glue is heating, I'm going to take apart this just so it's easier to attach them. But I think before I attach these, glue these on, I'm going to wrap the garlands around, so that way I know what that's going to be like my base. Okay, so the hot glue has heated up, and I'm just going to add a fairly generous amount.
It's cold outside, and I kind of feel like
Sure it doesn't get stuck to my, and I'm going to start with this. I'm going to cut off the little round part.
I just miss you.
Start here.
We were such.
Okay, so I now have a bit of a base set up. Now I'm going to add these leaves at random spots.
At age 18,
This would probably be a bit easier if you've had a grapevine wreath form, but since my dollar store doesn't carry those, and this is a dollar store project, I am doing it with this one, and I want to show you that you can do it with this one as well.
I just miss you. I just miss you. Oh, I miss you. Oh, I miss you.
Okay, now I'm gonna go with the bigger flowers, and I'm going to separate these as well and just put them at random places.
It's cold outside, and I kind of feel like calling, but it's too late now. I just miss you. I just miss you.
I'm gonna take apart this one and just add these wherever I need to.
Miss you.
Okay, so I'm gonna take these apart and just stick them in random places.
Nothing else that I can do.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to use up the rest of these. I'm just going to try and fill it in with some of these leaves.
So you were shrugging your shoulders and closed off. That's what I told you. Soon enough, everything started to change.
Now I'm going to take one of these apart and just add them where there is visible empty spot. And then I'm going to add just these ones like that.
Remember the colors, they were wrong. It was way more than a dream. We climbed up.
I actually have quite the open spot here, but I'm just going to put a little. There, that actually works.
Back to your old life, living in the past. We're over that. I'm feeling it tonight, riding on the dizzying heights.
And I'm going to add some of these leaves as well, because I like the different lengths, I guess, that it provides. It's all personal choice, personal preference, how you like things to look. Okay, I'm gonna hang it up and just see if I need to add any more stuff to it, because it's kind of hard to see what this looks like. So here it is. I think it looks great. I love the way the Harvest Blessing looks right in the middle, and I like all the different traditional colors that are included in this wreath. But at the same time, it gives off a bit of a rustic feel, which is what I'm going for in my decor. This is a very simple DIY. It cost me $0, but you can completely do it for under $5, because I didn't have to purchase a frame. But if you went to a secondhand store, even a dollar store, you can pick up a frame for this that would work as well. And then I just did some free printables, and I'm using some white paint that I had on hand and some glue, and that's it. But this, like I said, this is a great DIY, simple, and I think it's gonna be a great addition to my fall decor. So this picture frame I've had for many years, but as you can see, it kind of got damaged and the glass is missing already. It's not working as a picture frame, but I love the little details on it, so I didn't want to throw it out. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to paint it, but I want some of the details to show through, so I will be dry brushing the paint on. If you don't know what dry brushing, which I'm pretty sure almost everybody does, is you take some paint, you dip your paintbrush into some paint, and then you take it off so your brush is fairly dry, and then you brush it on. So there, it just gives it a nice effect, kind of takes away the gold, which I wasn't crazy about, and it just brings out the little details in the frame. I also want to say, if this is your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Sonia, and I have 3 different channels. This one, which I do DIYs. Then I have my home channel, where I do cleaning and I showcase my DIYs in my home. I do home tours, home decor. And then I have my third channel where I share my passion for cooking. And that one is called Domestic Diva Cooking. All the channels will be linked in my description box, so make sure you check them out if there's something that might interest you.
Easy we go. Easy.
So there, I am absolutely happy with the way this frame turned out. Just to kind of give you a close-up, it looks fantastic. So now for my insert, I have already pre-cut two sides. I measured out just a thicker piece of paper and then just a white one because the two pieces of cardboard that were there were too small and they would fall through because there's no glass. So I cut out something that would fit right in. And now I printed this off of Pinterest to cut it because I want to kind of center it a little bit better.
Tiptoes undercover, agents of the other, beyond gravel.
Okay, so I'm just going to glue that right there, and I'm just using school glue to do that. You could also use Mod Podge, but I am just using school glue. You can also take Mod Podge and put it over the picture. There it is. Now I'm going to slide it into the frame. This frame is stapled right at the top, so I'm going to I'm just going to, actually it fits perfectly in, so I don't think I'm gonna need to add tape, but sometimes, just to show you, it fits perfectly. Sometimes I'll add tape so it doesn't move around. There. And there we go. I absolutely love the way this looks. So I have chosen for this DIY to make a fall floral arrangement, and I am using this reclaimed or barnboard wood container. I have purchased this from a local florist a while back for Christmas, a setting that I do every year, so I thought I use it, decided to use it for fall as well. And then just random fall greenery that I've had laying around the house, because I do like to change up my decor often. So I have all this greenery. Some like these are from Hobby Lobby, these are from Dollarama, as well as these. These are from Dollar Tree, and these are leftover from Dollar Tree that I took apart. And then random pumpkins. These are pretty much pumpkins that I've had left over from other projects. So I've got some of these that came from Dollarama. These were, I think, fillers from Michael's. Then I have some styrofoam ones that came from Dollar Tree, and I just spray painted them. And if you look, spray painting styrofoam doesn't always work out. I think it gave it a little character, but it did almost melt it a little bit. So just random, like I said, random pumpkins to to make this. And then I'm also using the premium wet floral foam. This is from Dollarama. It's $1.50. This is the one that I use for Christmas because I soak it in the water. And then because I use real greenery, not fake greenery. So, and this works really well to keep the moisture in. And then you just don't have to water it every single day because it holds the moisture. But you have to line this up pretty good. That's what I usually do. I will probably have a tutorial on that as well closer to Christmas. But I prefer this one over the one that Dollar Tree sells, which is just styrofoam. I find this one doesn't fall apart as easily as the other one, and plus I don't do well with styrofoam sound. So maybe that's the only reason why I don't like working with that one. So anyways, without further ado, I'm going to get started. So first things first, I'm going to take apart this foam. And I'm going to place it, and as you can see, it fits perfectly in. And then this one, I think I'm going to have to cut a small piece off of it. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna slide right in. No. There. So there we go. Now I'm going to start with greenery and build it up. And I'm kind of going to use the same principle as I always do. Even with my Christmas stuff, I don't really want to cut these, so I'm just folding them. I'm going to start on the opposite ends. With these, I might gonna try just folding them and sticking them in, but I might cut them. The reason why I'm not cutting these is because I like using them in my decor. I'm going to cut these, or can I just, I think, because I like putting them in a long base. So okay.
And there was rain, beauty in the mundane.
And these can be all bent to fit how you want them to look. So now I'm gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. Okay, and then I have these. And these should be easier to take apart.
We let go of disguise, and now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin.
So I'm going to just randomly place these now, like that. And now I'm going to add some of this greenery. Holy smokes. Gotta grow some muscles.
Everything within. Oh.
And as you can see, I'm trying to fill in the middle a little bit more.
Easy on our tiptoes, undercover.
And now I'm just gonna fill in where it needs to be filled in a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it for now looking like this, and then I'm going to assess it. I think these are a little too long, but we'll look at them in a little bit. Now I'm going to put these pumpkins everywhere, and I am going to, I have some of the scrap pieces of twigs from a different project, and I'm just going to use them for these pumpkins. So I'm gonna poke a hole in, and then I'm going to put the pumpkin in like that. You can find these twigs in your garden.
Building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track of time.
And you want a thinner end to go inside the pumpkin, so that way you don't break your thicker end. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop myself because I know how I am, and I might just fill it with pumpkins. So now I'm just going to pull apart some of these leaves so it looks more fuller and more arranged. So I think it turned out really good, and like I said, just play around with the leaves, stretch them out, position them any way you want, so until you achieve the look that you are going after. First DIY, I will be making a farm fresh sign. Now I had printed this on a mirror image, and I will be painting this with some white paint, and I'm going to be transferring that image onto here. Cross my fingers it works, but we'll see. So I just have some white acrylic paint, and I want to give it a decent coat. And this is bamboo cutting board from Dollarama, their smallest one. Well, actually, I do think they have even a smaller one. So maybe not their smallest one. But I think they're great for signs. So I'm going to let this dry before I do anything else, and you want it to dry really well. So this had some time to dry. So for my image, I'm just going to trim it as close as possible. Okay, and now I am going to put some Mod Podge over it. To flip it. And you want this to dry very well. This had some couple hours to dry. So now I'm going to take some water and brush it on.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain.
Now I'm going to try and take it off by gently rubbing.
Our eyes, we let go of disguise.
fix it, I think. But you definitely want to gently rub it.
Restoring everything within.
As you can see, my F got a little messed up. Fix that.
Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the other.
I'm being extremely gentle.
Hand in hand, building castles out of sand.
And the longer you wait for it to dry, the better it will be.
We lose track of time, head up high, now we climb. Oh,
I do love the way this looks. I will try and touch up this F a little bit. Hopefully I can without making it look too out of sorts.
cover agents of the other, beyond gravel, beyond dawn.
I think that's pretty good. And then we're missing an R here too.
As we go.
Now what I was thinking is adding a little bit of brown to it, but really watered down, and using a rag. Just gonna go over here just to wipe it off, just to kind of add a little bit more rustic to the sign.
Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of.
If you don't like, or if you put too much, you can always add a little bit of white. I love layering paint. I think it just adds such a great look to any craft, any project you're working on. So there. I think this turned out really cute. I'm using one of these easels that wood easels, or what are they called? The wood artist panels from Dollarama. These are $4, and you can see I used it for something else on the other side, but I'm turning it over and I'm going to just paint a little bit of white just across very lightly. Okay, so now I just wanted to see that the white is everywhere where the acorn is. So now I'm going to use a gel stain in Spanish Oak by Old Masters, and I'm going to stain the outside. So I'm using this as a stencil. This came from Dollar Tree. There we go. I think that looks really good. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to take this rag that I was dipping and just lightly brush over so it's not so bright. So it almost blends it all in. There we go. Very easy, and it cost me around $5 because I will be using this again anyways for something else. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this very long video and it had given you tons of fall decor DIY inspirations. And if you truly enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and a notification bell if you haven't done so already. I would love to have you be part of my YouTube family. So until next time, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you all so much for watching.